intended to provide the platform not only for judicial officers, but the other members of support staff to develop their skills and professional knowledge. Judiciaries across the world have established similar institutions that are meant to capacitate and improve the quality of work of judges, magistrates, and non-judicial officers. To strengthen and enhance the training offered by the Institute, we will be partnering with important institutions in the country, such as the Judicial College of Zimbabwe, the Ministry of Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs, faculties of law at various universities, and the Law Society of Zimbabwe, with the aim of tapping on areas of the administration of justice that need improvement. Your Excellency, as you commission this courthouse today, I am happy to advise you that it has been constructed with the need for virtual hearings and video conferencing in mind. The need for video conferencing, Your Excellency, and virtual court sittings has, for various reasons, been there in the justice sector. The need has, however, been heightened by the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic, which has left the world with no choice but to go virtual. It is not a secret, Your Excellency, that normal and full-scale court operations have been severely affected by the pandemic, resulting in the piling up of cases. The lessons drawn from this development have heightened the urgent need for the deployment of information communication technologies to ensure efficiency and effectiveness in the delivery of justice without the physical assemblages of the necessary people in a courtroom. May I advise Your Excellency that the judiciary has done all that it can to mitigate the dangers wrought by the COVID-19 pandemic. We have implemented the measures prescribed by the Ministry of Health and Child Care. Members of staff have largely embraced the benefits of vaccination. We believe that the vaccination appears to be the immediate solution to the COVID-19 challenge. As at 31 August 2021, Your Excellency, 1,810 members of staff out of a total of 1,900 had been vaccinated. Your Excellency, before I conclude, I wish to express our sincere gratitude to various stakeholders who have partnered the Commission in the provision of critical services to the public. We are grateful to the Ministry of Finance and Economic Development for their willingness to provide the necessary financial support for the Commission's projects across the country. The Ministry of Public Works and Local Government has provided the technical expertise to these projects. I must say publicly that the dedication to work and professionalism in the manner the officials from the ministry have interacted with the Commission's personnel involved in the management of many of these projects is commendable. The work ethic, Your Excellency, of the contractor Hualong Construction Company in the construction of this complex also deserves special mention. The company showed so much professionalism during the entire process of bringing the construction of the building to finality. I also wish to acknowledge the positive relationship that the judiciary has had and continues to have with other stakeholders in the administration of justice, such as the Minister of Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs, through the Minister and the Permanent Secretary, the Zimbabwe Republic Police, the Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission, the Zimbabwe Prisons and Correctional Service, the National Prosecuting Authority, the Office of the Attorney General, and the Law Society of Zimbabwe. The long-standing partnership we have with the United Nations through its agencies such as UNICEF, UN Women, UNFPA, and the UNDP in various access to justice projects are all positives to cherish. We partner with the UNICEF and UNFPA in the victim-friendly court system and other child protection initiatives. The UNDP supports us in the training of judges, magistrates, and support staff. They are also assisting us in the setting up of the Judicial Training Institute of Zimbabwe and the integrated electronic case management system, including the procurement of virtual hearing equipment for all our 10 provincial magistrates' courts and the High Court in Harare and Bulawayo. UN Women have partnered the Commission in the Spotlight Initiative on the global partnership to eliminate all forms of gender-based violence. The judiciary, Your Excellency, would not have been where it is today without such support from government and these partners. These partners provide the assistance without any strings attached. Finally, allow me, Your Excellency, to conclude by commending the good work that both judges and magistrates are doing. They continue to work hard in very difficult circumstances. They have, despite the COVID-19 pandemic, kept the case backlogs in check. I further wish to publicly commend the Secretary of the Commission and his team for the wonderful work done in ensuring that the work on this impressive court met the highest standards possible that it has done. And I also would like to commend them and together with all other parties for efficiently organizing this event, Your Excellency. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Chief Justice. I particularly enjoyed your last sentence when you were publicly thanking the Secretary of the Judicial Service Commission and his team for working so hard. Thank you, Chief Justice. We rarely hear that from you. Thank you very much. Your Excellency, we would not achieve all these successes without the cooperation and the partnership that we have with the Minister of Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs. I must state publicly that in Minister Ziambi, we have a minister who always supports us on all issues relating to the management of matters in our courts, especially the administration of justice. I wish also to compliment Mrs. Virginia Mabiza, my partner, who always assists me, who always gives me professional advice, and is always there to assist us in matters of administration of justice in this country. Such cooperation, I will tell you, from the travels that we have made in the region and beyond, at times, you don't see that. Allow me at this juncture to request the Honorable Minister of Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs, Honorable Ziyambi, to come forward and take us to the next stage of the program. Honorable Ministers.
Thank you, our Master of Ceremony, Secretary of JSC, Comrade Chikwana. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Comrade Dr. Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, the Vice President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, who is also the Minister of Health and Childcare, Honorable General Retired Dr. Chiwenga, the Chief Justice of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Honorable Justice Luke Malaba, and the Deputy Chief Justice of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Honorable Miss Justice Elizabeth Gwaunza, the Minister of Defense and War Veterans Affairs, Honorable Opa Chamu Zvipange Mchinguri Kashiri, the Minister of National Security, Honorable Owen Nguve, the Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution in Mashonaland West, Honorable Mary Muliswa Chikoka, the Minister of Local Government and Public Works, Honorable Julai Moyo, represented by the Deputy Minister of Local Government and Public Works, Honorable Marian Chombo, Judge President of the High Court of Zimbabwe, Honorable Miss Justice Zimba Duve, and honorable judges here present, the Prosecutor General, Honorable Kumbirai Hodzi, and the Attorney General, Honorable Advocate Prince Machaya, honorable members of Parliament and senators here present, the Chairperson of the Public Service Commission, Dr. Vincent Hungwe, the Chief Secretary to the President and Cabinet, Dr. Mishek Sibanda, represented by the Deputy Chief Secretary to the President and Cabinet, Dr. Martin Rushwaya, members of the Judicial Service Commission here present, the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs, Mrs. Virginia Mabiza, and other permanent secretaries here present. The President of the Chiefs Council, Senator Chief Fortune Charumbira, represented by Senator Chief Chundu Nemadzimambo Ese Arpakati Pedu. Our service chiefs, His Worship, the Mayor of Chinhoyi, Councillor G. Dendera, His Grace, Bishop N. Mutendi of the Zion Christian Church, the President of the Law Society of Zimbabwe, Mr. Wellington Magaya, representatives from UNICEF and UNDP here present, the Acting Chairman of ZANU-PF, Comrade Mujeri here present, and other leaders from Mashonaland West of the ruling party, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Your Excellency, before I introduce the next speaker, which is what I've been requested to do, allow me to abuse the opportunity presented to me to speak and say a few remarks. Your Excellency, I stand here today wearing various hats. I am the Minister of Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs. I'm also the Member of Parliament for Zimba West, which is in Mashonaland West, and a Politburo member who comes from Mashonaland West. You can appreciate the joy in me, Your Excellency. The people of Zimba, when they see me, they are proud that we now have access to justice near us. The legal fraternity across the country, because of the job that you gave me, they will see this court and it will go down in history that in the year of our Lord, 2021, when one Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa was the president of Zimbabwe. On this very day, this court was opened, and my name will be sneaked in Pamamonya Ipap. So you can see, Your Excellency, that I am very much overjoyed. So irrespective of which head you give me, I am a beneficiary of the construction and commissioning of this court complex today. As Minister of Justice, Your Excellency, you'll be aware that one of my briefs is to superintend over the administration of justice of this country. A key component of the administration of justice includes provision of court infrastructure to promote and enhance access to justice. Access to justice has developed to be a key human rights issue internationally. For that reason, Your Excellency, it is one of the strategic focus areas of my ministry to ensure that the citizens of this country are able to access the courts close to their homes and travel the shortest of distance possible to the nearest court. We acknowledge as a ministry, Your Excellency, that it is undesirable that we still have presence of the High Court only in 5 provinces in the country at this stage of our development. We are happy, Your Excellency, that the National Development Strategy 1, which is instructive on the need to decentralize our courts, including the High Court, to all provinces, will soon correct this anomaly. It is for this reason that I am gratified with this giant step forward that the Judicial Service Commission has done by constructing this multi-purpose court that will house the High Court, the Magistrate Court, the Master of the High Court, and the Sheriff of the High Court, among others. As already alluded by the Chief Justice, the Chinhoyi project was one of the projects we had in our latest 100-day cycles under the justice sector. It is therefore a plus on our ministry, Your Excellency. My other head I've already alluded to as a member of Parliament for Zimba West and a member of the Politburo. Such a massive court building in our provincial capital is a fulfillment of the party's election promises of infrastructure development in the country. Over the years, in my interactions with the Secretary of the JSC, Mr. Shikwana, I would always ask him of the progress of this project and put pressure on him and the Minister of State to ensure that the construction of this court is completed. It is a project that was of sentimental value to me because this building had been lying idle, derelict, and abandoned for more than a decade. To have the construction resumed and completed within a period of 3 years is indeed remarkable, and also using our own resources, Your Excellency. I wish to urge the JSC to continue with this expansion trajectory. By 2030, we want to have the High Court located in every province in the country. Now we have 5 and 5 to go. Having abused my presence close to the mic, Your Excellency, allow me, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, to introduce the Vice President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, who is also the Minister of Health and Childcare, Honorable retired Dr. C.D.G.N. Chiwenga, who will take us to the next stage of our program. The Vice President himself is a decorated military commander with glittering Liberation War credentials. He rose through the ranks in the ZANU-PF military wing up to that of ZANLA High Command, holding positions such as that of Deputy Political Commissar to the then Political Commissar, the late Josiah Tungamirai. Post-independence, he continued to serve with distinction in different roles in the Zimbabwe National Army, holding ranks of brigadier, major general, and lieutenant general until he became the commander of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces. With the advent of the Second Republic, he became the Vice President of the Republic of Zimbabwe. And currently, he also holds, besides that portfolio, he holds the portfolio of being the Minister of Health and Childcare. He is a results-oriented leader known for his demand for performance and implementation of tasks while leading from the front. Your Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor and privilege to now invite Honorable Vice President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Dr. CDGN Chiwenga, to the podium. Honorable Vice President, sir.
The Director of Ceremonies and Secretary for Judicial Service Commission, Mr. Walter Chikwana, the Chief Justice of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Honorable Justice Luke Malawa, the Deputy Chief Justice of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Honorable Justice Ms. E. Baunza, the Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Mashonaland West Province, Honorable Mary Muriskwa Chikoka, Minister of Defense and War Veterans Affairs, and Chairman of the ruling party, ZANU-PF, Honorable Opam Chamuzipange Mchinguri Kashiri. Minister of Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs, Honorable Ziambe Ziambe. The Attorney General of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Honorable Advocate Prince Machaya, the Honorable Minister of Local Government and Public Works, Honorable July Moyo, is represented by the Deputy Minister, Honorable Marian Chombo. Other ministers here present: Judge President, Justice Zimba Dube, Chairman of the Public Service Commission, Dr. Vincent Ungwe, Chairperson of the Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission, Justice Matanda Moyo, the Deputy Chief Secretary representing the Chief Secretary, Dr. Martin Rushwaya, Secretary for Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs, Ms. Virginia Mabiza, senior government officials, members of the media fraternity, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a good afternoon to you all. I am honored and elated to be part of this gathering today, witnessing the official opening of the Chinhoyi Court Complex, launch of the Judicial Service Commission, Service Commission policies, standard operating procedures and manuals, as well as the Judicial Training Institute of Zimbabwe. This is indeed a momentous occasion in line with the Second Republic's call for infrastructural development and enhancement of access to justice. This call is clearly pronounced in the government's economic turnaround policy, Vision 2030, and augmented by the National Development Strategy 1 document. Distinguished guests, as we carried out a tour of this beautiful courthouse, it was gratifying to note the effort that has been put in place by coming up with new ways of having court sittings through video conferencing and virtual hearings. This is commendable, considering the virulent COVID-19 pandemic, which requires such innovation as it is no longer business as usual. The judicial is no exception in the new normal. As such, both public and private institutions have no option but to adopt the requisite behavioral changes. The establishment of a station clinic by the Judicial Service Commission in partnership with the Public Service Medical Aid Society, PSMAS, is a positive move, which I applaud as the Minister of Health and Child Care. The Chief Justice has highlighted that almost all members of the Judicial Service Commission have been vaccinated. Out of almost 2,000 members of staff, only 90 are yet to be vaccinated. I want to once again thank you, Chief Justice, for a job well done. I am really impressed. This is quite a commendable achievement. It shows that the call for us all to be vaccinated is being received well. Having made these few remarks, allow me, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, to introduce to you our guest of honor. The guest of honor is an experienced lawyer who has tirelessly worked to shape the landscape of the administration of justice in Zimbabwe. He qualified as a lawyer a very long time ago, having been admitted to the bar in 1976. From 1989 to 2000, he was the Minister of Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs. Having served government in other different capacities, he returned to the Ministry of Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs and served for the second cycle from 2013 to 2017, a portfolio he held simultaneously with that of Vice President of the Republic of Zimbabwe. In aggregate, our guest of honor served as Minister of Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs for a cumulative period of 16 years since independence, making him the longest serving Minister of Justice in the history of this country. During his tenure as Minister of Justice, the ministry introduced several interventions aimed at improving the administration of justice in our jurisdiction. Particularly, he was instrumental in the introduction of the Courts Retention Fund to ensure efficient operations of the courts. Under the National Development Strategy 1, justice delivery is one of the cornerstones for achieving Vision 2030. The judiciary has a critical role to play in enhancing transparency and accountability. The Judiciary Service Commission will therefore be expected to establish the High Court and specialized courts in all provinces, construct additional courts in small towns and remote areas, as well as revamp existing courtrooms to make them accessible to persons living with disabilities. The guest of honor's sense of justice developed from his areas when he found the policies of colonial Rhodesia to be an affront to basic notions of justice, as it was characterized by hatred, segregation, subjugation of the black majority. For instance, by reason of color of the skin, blacks were not allowed to take up certain professions, such as the practice of law. These iniquities and his own sense of equity and justice spurred the guest of honor and other nationalists to wage the war of liberation, attain justice for all, and equitable distribution of resources, including land. As a lawyer and leader of the liberation struggle, he was part of the delegation to the Lancaster House Conference, which came up with our first constitution, popularly known as the Lancaster House Constitution. After independence, he held different portfolios as Minister, Speaker of Parliament with distinction. Suffice to state that our guest of honor is a true champion of justice, empowerment, and a visionary. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, comrades and friends, it is now my honor to humbly invite our guest of honor, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe and Commander-in-Chief of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces, His Excellency Comrade Dr. Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, to address us and the nation at large. Your Excellency.
Ngatigara hedu pasi. Our Director of Ceremonies and Secretary to the Judicial Service Commission, Comrade Chikwana. Let me get you out of the comrade. Vice President and Minister of Health and Child Care, Honorable General Retired Dr. C.G.D.N. Chiwenga. The Chief Justice, Honorable Justice Luke Malawa. The Vice Chief Justice, Honorable Justice Elizabeth Gonza. The Minister of Defense and all Veterans Affairs and Chairman of ZANU-PF, Honorable OCZ Mchinguri Kashiri. The Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Mashonaland West Province, Honorable Mary Mulisa Chikoka. His Grace Archbishop Nehemiah Mtendi, the Minister of Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs, Honorable Ziambi, the Minister of State for National Security, Honorable Nube, the Minister of Local Government Public Works is represented by the Deputy Minister, Honorable Chombo. The Attorney General of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Advocate Machaya, the Prosecutor General, Honorable Ozi, the Chairman of Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission, Honorable Amai Moyo, the Chairman of the Public Service Commission, Dr. Vincent Ungwe, the Permanent Secretary for Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs, Honorable Mai Mabiza, the Deputy Chief Secretary, representing the Chief Secretary, Dr. Shwaya, and other senior government officials who are here, service chiefs who are here, Mazimambedu Varipano. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, comrades and friends. It is my great pleasure to preside over the official opening and commissioning of the new court complex here in Chinhoyi, Mashonaland West Province, whose building shell had lay derelict for close to 15 years. The fact that we are gathered to witness the successful completion of this project signifies my administration's resolve and commitment to deliver on its development-oriented policies and programs. The era of starting projects that never get completed is now gone. The culture of action, success, and excellency is the bedrock of the Second Republic's value system and ethos. All projects underway will therefore be timely completed so that our people can enjoy the modern and the quality services and goods. State institutions must now seek new achievements and victories as opposed to perpetually basking in accomplishment of yesteryear laziness. We are a government and a people on a journey to create and build the Zimbabwe we all want. Hence, each institution must play its part for the country to maintain its trajectory and the multifaceted targets set out under the National Development Strategy 1. Everyone must justify his or her employment in the particular capacity that he or she occupies. Now that I say this, I recently appointed Judge President. I forgot to acknowledge. I'm sorry, madam. I acknowledge you, Justice Dewey, I think. Our actions and results must speak louder than our words in order to make Vision 2030 a reality to all citizens. Every nation's infrastructure contributes significantly to the sustainable growth of its economy. It is a measure of the quality of life of citizens in each country. The National Development Strategy 1 identifies infrastructure development as one of the key pillars to the national vision. This is underpinned by the rapid construction and restoration of basic infrastructure services, such as roads and other key targeted sectors of energy, water, sanitation, information and communication technology, and housing for our people. When we toured this infrastructure, I felt very, very proud that we have such a state of service in a developing country like Zimbabwe, which compares with anything in the first world. I developed the opinion that indeed this is the apex of justice delivery until I listened to the prayer of His Grace Bishop Mutende. I realized that monkeys play by sizes. The secular world, developing or developed secular countries on the planet, play at one size. But the Lord above plays at a different level. He dispenses justice to the living and to the dead. I had not thought about that one. So I'm sure the Chief Justice will take that into note. During the course of this week, I was pleased to tour construction works at the Robert Mugabe International Airport and officiate at the commissioning of the Marimba Flats project yesterday, as well as launch the National Human Settlements Policy yesterday. I wish to applaud the Minister of Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs, the Judicial Service Commission, the Ministry of Finance and Economic Development, the Minister of Local Government and Public Works, along with other supporting departments and agencies of government, for their collective commitment and a unity of purpose towards the improving this court infrastructure. I could see my Minister of Justice admiring the facilities inside. So in my mind, I thought he wants to be a judge. No, you are still Minister of Justice. The number of courthouses which stand out as government's flagship infrastructure in many districts across the country is a symbol of government's unwavering determination to ensure access to justice to all citizens. I'm aware that a notable number of courthouses and judicial infrastructure have been built or rehabilitated throughout the country since the advent of the Second Republic. As the Secretary of the Judicial Service Commission, Komechkwana, had said, I admired when he was taking me around the labor court in Harare. I think I wasted my admiration. This is where one must really admire. These include several magistrates' courts in Mount Darwin, Wange, Lupane, Mutare, and Harare, among others. The refreshing feature emerging from these collaborative efforts is that the infrastructure dovetails with our modernization agenda. The high-quality state-of-the-art courtrooms fitted with modern equipment create a world-class ambience for members of staff and the litigants alike. I was taken to the library, the new library. You heard the vice president saying, I was admitted as an advocate to the High Court of Zambia in 1975. We were very much proud of our legal library. It was very long, with every book you can think of. But the library here, I was told you can sit on one chair and they peruse books in Washington and in Tokyo. I'm happy I'm not an advocate anymore. I would also want to commend the contractor, Halong Construction of China, for the impressive quality of the works. It's absolutely magnificent. When we arrived and the Chief Justice was briefing us, he told us that, Mr. President, we have a magnificent infrastructure. I laughed, Mbumangu, because I belong to the old school, where we know that you don't mark your own work. You write an exam, somebody must mark the work you do. So he was marking his own work and describing this as magnificent. I now agree with you. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights recognizes the right to the access of justice as a fundamental human right. This right is a vital ingredient in the protection and enforcement of other human rights. Access to justice is also an enabler for the ultimate realization of other fundamental rights. Every person, regardless of gender, race, social standing, or other status, is entitled to the equal protection of the law and to seek and obtain judicial remedies from the courts. Under the National Development Strategy 1, the overarching objective of the governance national priority area is to improve justice delivery service, among other aspects. Court infrastructure and effective and unimpeded access to the courts are some of the vital elements in improving justice delivery. Furthermore, it is imperative that the courts are closer to the people. Hence, the establishment of the High Court here in Chinhoyi is a fulfillment of this requirement. This will reduce distances traveled by litigants and witnesses who used to travel long distances to and from Harare to access the services of the High Court. I believe that the other 5 provinces which do not have this facility, let me assure them that they will have similar or better facilities. The Easier of Doing Business initiative, which is a key barometer for investors and central to government's motto of Zimbabwe is open for business, also benefits from the quick turnaround times in the resolution of contractual disputes. All ministries, departments, and agencies are reminded that the policy on devolution requires all institutions of government to be visible and accessible in every province and district of our country. The expansion and decentralization of the court system by the Judicial Service Commission is therefore applauded and most welcome. This complex marks the first one-stop court complex in Zimbabwe, where the High Court, the Magistrate Court, the Master of the High Court, the Sheriff of the High Court, and all of these are resident in one building. We have also facilities for the Prosecutor General, facilities for the police, actually both the police and the prison service. There's better offices here than at their headquarters. And now, this facility becomes the 5th High Court seat in Zimbabwe after Harare, Bulawayo, Masvingo, and Mtare. My government's decision to construct and open court stations in high-density residential suburbs is a turning point in the administration of justice. I exhort the Judicial Service Commission to speed up the implementation of this initiative. This will go a long way towards reducing the alarming congestion which is often witnessed by those seeking justice. Apart from decongesting the existing facilities, such endeavors will also bring justice to the doorstep of some of the most populated townships in our country. Honorable Chief Justice, distinguished guests, as we celebrate the opening of Chinhoyi Court Complex today, it is important that the judiciary remains seized with the broader mandate reposed to it by the Constitution. There are 3 pillars of state: the judiciary, the legislature, and the executive. The executive is the political arm which runs the country. And the other two, the judiciary and legislature, are represented in cabinet for their political needs, complaints and praise by the Minister of Justice. Hence, it is critically important that there should continuously be collaboration between the three pillars of state in order to develop and modernize our country. When facilities such as this court complex have been provided, reports of undue delays in finalizing matters in the courts become worrisome, Chief Justice. Now, you can use a shambok on the judges. As we went around, the comfort in here for the judges, I whispered to the Chief Justice that mupote muchiuya bangarara. It's too comfortable. Reports of judgments taking years to be delivered by some of our judicial officers must be a thing of the past, CJ. Judicial independence does not in any way mean doing away with accountability. Every citizen has a right to the expeditious delivery of justice without delay. The notion of judicial independence requires that the judiciary tackles such issues using its own administrative mechanisms in line with the policy of self-regulation in order to remove any perception of interference by the other arms of government. I can assure you that under my administration, I don't interfere with the judiciary. An effective and efficient justice system, delivery system, therefore, serves to assure every potential litigant that they can genuinely have their day in court and their disputes resolved without delay. Embracing ICT is no longer a luxury, but a functional requirement for every public institution in our country. As we were going around, we arrived at a boardroom where there are cameras and screens. So somebody was explaining to us, I don't know the title. It was telling us that the Chief Justice can actually have a conference with his judges here whilst he's in Harare. Then the Vice President, isuka shida kuona president totofamba kuinda ku State House. So you guys are already ahead of us. It is commendable that this complex we are opening today has facilities for virtual hearings and video conferencing. The introduction of digital hearings and e-justice will enable the courts to continue functioning normally in the face of the challenges we currently face presented by the COVID-19 pandemic. In that regard, I also wish to assure stakeholders in the justice delivery system that my administration will continue to support the sector in setting up ICT infrastructure of courts and associated services. Government remains concerned with reports of drug and substance abuse among our people. The abuse of drugs has the potential to destroy the moral fabric of society, particularly amongst the youth. I wish to urge all community leaders, the churches, political parties, civic organizations, employers and employees, federations, traditional leaders, universities, and other institutions of higher learning to join hands in the fight against the undesirable scourge of drug and substance abuse spreading across our nation. However, it is critically important that the courts must equally play their role by ensuring that adequate attention is directed to cases of possession, trafficking, and offenses associated to drugs and substance abuse. On its part, my government recently established an interministerial task force on drugs to complement the efforts of other state institutions who are engaged in fighting the abuse. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to congratulate the Chief Justice and the Judicial Service Commission for developing the standard operating procedures and policies for the sector. Public institutions can only become efficient and effective when their operations are uniform and are transparent. I'm happy to note that the monitoring and evaluation guidelines developed are drawn from the government's monitoring and evaluation policy, which I launched in April 2020. Judicial training is indeed the panacea to an independent and efficient judiciary that dispenses quality justice with minimum delays. It is my fervent hope that the Judicial Training Institute of Zimbabwe, which I am launching today, will contribute to the skills development of all your judicial officers. Congratulations once again for this landmark achievement, Mr. Chief Justice. I wish to applaud all government institutions and other stakeholders which took part in ensuring that this long-awaited one-stop shop court complex becomes a reality. We have all proved that justice cannot survive as a cloistered virtue, but must be accessible and open to the people. After all, the legitimacy of the courts is derived from the people of Zimbabwe. Meanwhile, I'm encouraged to note that the majority of staff in the Judicial Service Commission and the judiciary in general have been vaccinated. I urge you all to remain vigilant as you undertake your duties and protect yourselves against COVID-19. My administration will continue to ensure that adequate doses of vaccines are sourced and are freely, and I repeat, freely accessed by every Zimbabwean. I understand there are certain quarters in the country who have begun selling these vaccines by soap. With these remarks, it is now my singular honor, privilege, and a pleasure to pronounce the Chinhoyi Court Complex. And of course, I'm aware that the Minister of Justice and the Minister for Mashonaland West Province feel that this court raises their profile. I will not argue. Anyway, with these remarks, it is now my singular honor and pleasure to pronounce the Chinhoyi Court Complex duly commissioned. I further declare the Judicial Training Institute of Zimbabwe and the Judicial Service Commission Standard Operating Procedures Manuals and the policies officially launched. God bless you all. God bless Zimbabwe.